Welcome to an episode of Strategic Conversations. We host insightful discussions with top business leaders. Today, we are hosting Mr. John Berger, the chairman, president, and CEO of Sunnova. Listed on the New York Stock Exchange, a Houston-based company, Sunnova, has a market cap of close to $4 billion. We want to congratulate Mr. Berger on his fantastic success in being an entrepreneur and creating a company that has enjoyed so much success. Strategic Conversations are hosted by the Houston Strategy Forum. And today's episode is sponsored by my management consulting executive coaching firm, Cohegic. I am Ravi Kathuria, the president and founder of the Houston Strategy Forum and author of the book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, and author of the book, How Cohesive is Your Company. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to an exciting discussion with Mr. Berger. John, thank you for taking the time today. We appreciate you very much, sir. And congratulations again for your success.
Thank you, Ravi. You're too kind. Thanks for having me.
It is great to see an energy company based in Houston. And I guess I should correct myself, a new energy company, right? It's not the old energy, it's a new energy company in Houston be successful. But many of our viewers may not be familiar with Sunnova. So would you help us understand what Sunnova does? What is it about Sunnova that you are making happen right in the marketplace?
Oh, certainly. So Sunnova is a residential energy service provider. And we started with solar only, and we've added storage or batteries. We're about to add generators, load managers, EV charging, electric vehicle charging, some other software. And basically, where we see ourselves is a wireless power company, able to provide energy, capacity, ancillary services back into the centralized grid, or even working on developing our own grid or microgrids for folks such as home builders. So it's again now we've talked about so many different technologies that we're integrating more and more of these new technologies together, not just solar, and providing that energy service to the customer with or without the wire.
So why did you choose a residential focus as opposed to an industrial focus?
Well, yeah, the first thing that when you look at decarbonization and new technologies like solar, storage, wind, et cetera, is that the first place to go is on the utility scale side, or what we call in front of the meter. And then, that's quickly being dominated by very large firms like NextEra, so essentially the utilities, Dominion, et cetera. And then the next place that folks go is commercial. And there is a lot of opportunity there. I do see the firm moving in that direction at some point in time. But the challenges with commercial is that, particularly on the financing side of things, but all the way through, is that there's no uniformity. Okay. And so therefore, what that leads to is real challenges in scaling up a fairly large business. And scale matters in the energy business, everybody knows. Yes. So when you look at residential, you have that ability. All of our contracts, whether they're under a loan financing arrangement or a lease or a power purchase agreement, they're all the same contract. So there's consistency there, so much to the point that we securitize those contracts. Okay. And then all of our other pieces that we, in terms of operations, our processes, et cetera, those are all standardized as well. Then the next piece is the technology itself. Solar is not as energy dense as some of the others, like a fuels, natural gas, and so forth, that would be burned and turned into power through reciprocating engine, turbine, et cetera. And so what you want to look for is a relatively low ratio with rooftop space. This is simplistic, the way I think about it. It's rooftop space to load factor per square foot. So in a building like I'm in now, 10-story building, that's not good at all, in terms of percentage of the load that you'll be able to serve. In a single family home,
Yes.
particularly in places that have temperate climate, which is not Houston. Houston's actually the most difficult market that we face as far as that goes,
Oh,
and other reasons.
really?
But
I had a question about that, so I want to explore that later. Yes.
sure. But places like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Northern California, Colorado, all those markets are markets that have a very relatively straightforward or lower rooftop, to load factor, and so that it goes to the technology's early benefits, technology being solar and batteries, to address those customers and those structures in a more full basis than, say, on the commercial side, like a big warehouse.
And so help me understand that you said what is it about Houston homes or Houston climate that is not well suited as places that you mentioned, Hawaii and Puerto Rico? Help us understand that.
Houston has a combination of really three issues, if you will, and we are, to be clear about it, we're seeing a huge uptake in Houston in terms of our customer base. But it has been of recent, and it is the most difficult major metropolitan market that we have in the United States. So the answer to the question is, well, why is that, John? The first thing is that as in today, we've got cloud cover, and because we're on the coast, yes, we're not even as good as Dallas or Austin, or certainly not even close to El Paso, and so that presents challenges, I think, that are understandable. Okay. The second thing is that we've had a deregulated market. I know of recent there's been a lot of discussion and argument about that, but there can be no argument that we did have, and I think that is quickly changing, by the way, but we did have very, very low power rates. Most would say in the centralized generation business, yes, too low, yes, to really operate companies successfully. And the third is that we consume more power per square foot in our home on average than any major city in the United States. We vie, historically with Dallas for that title, but typically we've always won or at least nudged them out. And so that combination of those three things makes Houston very difficult. I would also say, quite candidly, that Houston's mentality of embracing renewable energy on a historical basis wasn't that positive as compared to the other cities of the country. That's changing. Has changed a lot, but that has also been a real hindrance as well as a lack of really any accommodating policy to the business in a historical. And so what we're really needing was batteries. We now have batteries, whereas many other cities across the United States could have successful service contracts and services to customers with just only solar. You really needed batteries to really come into the play, if you will, to make Houston successful.
Yeah, I mean, that's an irony because, I have many thoughts going through my mind. First of all, we need a huge billboard right on 59 near Kirby next to your offices, which says Sunnova is right here. And please put solar on your roofs. But you would think that Houston, we probably have the largest homes in anywhere in the country. I cannot imagine any other city which has larger homes, right? But we have a lot of space here. So we have more roof space, which would make it ideal. I understand we don't have, I had thought that we have enough sunny days as opposed to days that are cloudy. But Houston, certainly we need to bring that change, right? We need to get people educated. And both the winter storm of this February and Harvey has taught us that we need energy. We need energy available to our homes all the time. And so putting whatever combination that you're providing, right, either through solar and batteries, or I guess you talked about generators. I suspect there's natural gas generators. We all need better energy reliability in our homes in Houston, and not to mention we're one of the fastest growing regions in the country, if not in the world, right? We just saw an article today on MarketWatch that Houston is beating Austin in terms of technology companies that are moving. That is fascinating, right? So we need these technology companies. We need companies like you to succeed in your own backyard. And And we probably have, I don't know, but I suspect close to 1 million homes here, right? So you have 100,000 customers. The next 500,000 customers served should come from Houston itself. I think that would be cool. But so if we go out of Houston,